Hello, welcome back.
You're watching World Hour from Jakarta. Now today, Indonesia celebrates Kartini Day, remembering the life of Raden Ajeng Kartini, one of Indonesia's most significant figures in women's rights.
Now, while Kartini notably established a school for women in the early 1900s, a woman in Malang, East Java has founded a school for less fortunate children, making school graduates of those who would otherwise never been able to.
What otherwise seems like an ordinary village home in the outskirts of Malang is actually a school housing many local, less fortunate children. The facilities are limited, but nonetheless, children gleefully study inside its simple interior. The school consists only of 2 classrooms, but facilitate 36 young students who learn to count, write, sing and pray. This Al-Iksan kindergarten is the only kindergarten in this village on the outskirts of Malang, East Java. It is funded solely by Siti Nurhayati, a housewife who herself only graduated from elementary school. Nurhayati set up the school 6 years ago after recognizing that there were no kindergartens in her village. Nurhayati claimed that she didn't want children in her village to go through the lack of education she experienced when she was younger.
Iya, karena harapan saya di masa yang akan datang biar nggak ada orang seperti saya. Karena saya bukan orang berpendidikan, saya hanya lulusan SD. Jadi saya berusaha bagaimana caranya anak-anak yang nggak bisa sekolah.
Every year, Nurhayati's kindergarten can facilitate 40 students, and the fee merely costs under 1,000 rupiah per month. Nevertheless, it has graduated hundreds of students, many of whom have gone on to continue elementary school. As Indonesia commemorates Kartini Day on the 21st of April, Siti Nurhayati is a fine example of women who struggle to make a change. While Kartini fought hard for women's rights, establishing a school for women during the Dutch colonial era, Nurhayati has carried on that flame, improving the lives of those less privileged.
100 years after Kartini's death, Indonesia has made extraordinary investments in women's empowerment.
Now, many women have filled top positions in Indonesia. However, some issues still prevail. Now, here's more.
As Indonesia celebrates Kartini Day on the 21st of April, the whole nation looks back at the struggles of one of Indonesia's pioneering figures of women empowerment, Raden Ajeng Kartini. 100 years after her death, now many women fill top positions in Indonesia. In the government ranks, inspiring figures such as Sri Mulyani was appointed as the finance minister of Indonesia and then hired by the World Bank to be its managing director. While Karen Agustiawan was appointed as the president and CEO of Pertamina from 2009 to 2014 and was number 1 on Forbes' 2011 Asia's 50 most powerful businesswomen. Media publications such as Magdalene.co further pushed the agenda of female empowerment in Indonesia. Highlighting many women's issues, the website is only proof of the platform that is now readily available to tackle problems surrounding women's rights. However, though much progress has been made, many problems still prevail. Although many women have made it to the government and ministerial positions, many experts argue that gender discrimination still exists in the parliament. In 2014, women only comprised 17% of House seats, a lower figure than 2009. Ironically, this comes after a presidential decree released in 2000, which obliged all government bodies to mainstream gender in their policies and programs to eliminate gender discrimination. Problems such as this only raise the question of how much progress women's empowerment in Indonesia has really made.
As we all know, the topic on women empowerment is a burning issue all over the world. Now, here to talk more about women and their life issues is Devi Asmarani, co-founder of a website that voices women's issues called Magdalene. Now, empowering women means to improve the quality of women, basically their life. Now, what are your perspective on women empowerment?
Well, we think that that women have what it takes. First of all, we believe in gender equality.
Yes.
So women have what it takes to do whatever men can. But because a lot of it is because of cultural issues and patriarchal culture, basically, that we are limited by things like such as norms, or even personally we limit ourselves and even our society and our family. So what Magdalene provides is like perspectives, stories that people share, that our readers share, that we write on this is the world of women. So it's not a lot of, I would say that some of the women's publications are focused too much on how women should be presented. Like, you have to be beautiful, you have to be skinny, you have to be this and that and this and that. But, you know, in Magdalene, we encourage our own individuality, and because that's what can empowers you. If you accept yourself, that you know how to empower yourself through things that mean something to you.
Now, let's talk about those norms. In Indonesia, in your website, actually, what are the trending topics that women are talking about right now?
Yeah. Well, our readers a lot of them are young women. And we are actually quite happy. I mean, when we started, we thought it was going to be like 25 to 30 something women. But actually, as we progress, we find out that the readers are getting younger and younger. And a lot of their issues is about like their identities. There's a lot of clash with the norms, with restrictions that they find in their culture, in their family, in maybe religions, and they ask like big questions. So a lot of our issues revolve around that. And like, for example, about sexuality, you know, about like religious teaching, like people start asking critical questions about why is this way, why do we have to be like this, why are religion affecting us in this way. So I think, and also there are issues like LGBT, and so I think you know, it's a wide spectrum of things that we cover, but it mostly affect women from young to, I mean, even from my generation, I could feel them, but I think now they become even more and more aware from a younger age, you know, of some of these restrictions, some of these issues.
And we know that Indonesia is the second largest Muslim population, and that is also a big factor to one of the questions that they ask and discuss. What about religion and maybe hijabs and Muslim in general?
Yeah.
What are some struggles that women face in Indonesia that is
Yeah.
contrast to Western society?
You know, surprisingly, like based on what we have presented so far in our stories and in our interaction with our readers, there's a lot of, we cover both sides. There are women who believe that, you know, they wear hijab because this is their right, this is part of their identity, this is what part of their beliefs. There are also women who believe that you know, women should not be controlled how they, you know,
Yes,
because
the
there are still some arguments over whether you want to wear it or whether you should wear it or not. And then there are also women who actually have been wearing it and who think about taking it off, or some of them
Yes.
have taken off. So we have stories like that. We cover the whole spectrum of that hijab issues, which can be controversial sometimes, but it's also eye-opening. To me, I learn a lot from reading and editing some of these stories.
Okay, now, but unemployment of women. Now, we all know that women constitute 50% of the world population. Now, a large number of them is still unemployed. Do you think it's because of the stereotype that women should be housewives, or do you think they're not given the opportunity for, you know, employment like men?
I think there's a few factors that play into that. I think maybe lack of education. Like even in Indonesia, you have the same proportion of boys and girls in primary school, but as you go up higher in you know, secondary and middle school and tertiary, you go less and less. The dropout numbers increase. So women have, like if a family has boys and girls, they would invest more. If they only have a certain amount of money, they would invest more in the boys. So education, like less education, lower education. And secondly, women also face some restrictions in the employment or in the working field. Like maybe they start out okay, and then you know, they were in the same path as a man, like their colleague, but then as they go along, then they get into like childbearing years, and then you know, and then they face some restriction. And
What
then
about the pay, like the salary?
and yes, and like globally, it's still women still earn 77% of what men earn. So if men earns like $100 a day, men would get only 77,000. That's globally, and I think it might be even lower in Indonesia in some fields, because in most fields, like the top leadership of companies and institutions and stuff is still held by men. So of course, opportunity. Maybe they have the same talents, but at the end of the day, it's like at the end of the day, they don't get as much opportunity to maximize
But
their
it's
potential.
been better over the past few years, of course. Yeah, it's compared to how it was before. Like women were not allowed to work that much.
Yes, but I think there's also some increasing movements to put women back into the domestic realm, and a lot of this, I'm sorry to say, a lot of this also is caused by increasing conservatism and the way that religious is getting into more political here, and so a lot of this comes through like perda or bylaws, regional bylaws that are discriminative against women, that like control how women dress or control what time women should be out. There's a lot of bylaws right now, perda, that are like that set curfews for women, or that they have to be out with their husband or male blood relations after certain hours. So yes, I think in many ways we have improved, but in some ways there are more challenges that we're facing as well.
Right now.
But now back to your efforts, maybe through your website. What do you hope to accomplish from this very website of yours?
I think first of all we want to empower women, but don't get me wrong, we also have male audience, we also have male readers, and we want to engage them, we want to reach out to them also, because we're feminist media. Some people think that feminism is a bad word, but that's another different story.
Right.
But we want to reach out to them. We want to tell them that this world, in this world you have equal opportunities, both men and women, and there are that you have been conditioned in this way because of the society is this way. But so we present a lot of different stories, a lot of different perspectives, so that to open their eyes, and maybe they would also share their stories. And I think stories embolden you and encourage you, and I think that has life-changing effects on people.
All right, we look forward to look more about your website.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Definitely
That's
get a
all
look at it.
the time we have. Thank you so much for your
Thank
time.
you so much.
Thank
David.
you.
Now, investigations are being conducted after Mitsubishi Motors found employees manipulated fuel efficiency data.
That's next.